Hello everyone, and welcome to How-FixIT. If your iPhone 17 won't charge through USB-C, only charges at a certain angle, keeps disconnecting when the cable moves, or the port feels loose, this video is for you. In this step-by-step guide, I'll show you how to replace the iPhone 17 USB-C charging port assembly so charging becomes stable, the port fits properly in the frame, and data connections work normally again. For this repair, you'll need a precision screwdriver set, plastic pry tools, tweezers, a suction cup, and a screen disassembly tool, which are all essential for safely opening an iPhone. To restore water resistance, you'll also need adhesive sealing tape. I've included links to all the tools and replacement parts in the video description below. For the best results, I highly recommend using a magnetic mat to organize screws and small parts during disassembly. The iPhone 17 has dozens of screws in different sizes, and a magnetic mat keeps everything secure and helps you put each screw back in the correct place during reassembly. Let's begin by accessing the internals through the back glass. Remove the two screws flanking the USB-C port at the bottom of the iPhone. Next, place your iPhone face down and use a regular hairdryer or heat gun to warm the bottom of the back glass until it's slightly uncomfortable to touch but not burning hot. Heat the back glass for about 2 minutes with a hairdryer or up to 90 degrees Celsius, 194 degrees Fahrenheit, with a heat gun. The goal is to soften the adhesive holding the back glass to the middle frame. Once heated, place your suction cup on the lower portion of the back glass and pull up on the suction cup handle with steady pressure to create a small gap between the back glass and the frame. Insert a thin pry tool in the gap and carefully separate the glass from the frame. If no gap appears, apply more heat or add a small drop of isopropyl alcohol to the gap between the frame and the glass. Then try again. To maintain the temperature of the heated glass, remember to periodically warm its surface as you work. As you work around the phone, never insert your pry tool deeper than 3 mm. This is crucial because there are delicate components close to the edges, including a cable near the volume buttons and multiple spring contacts around the entire perimeter. At the top edge, the back glass is held by two hinges. When you reach them, push the back glass slightly downward to release the hinges. Carefully swing the back glass open toward the right side of the iPhone. Like opening a book, you'll now see the battery connector cover secured by two small screws. Remove the two screws securing the battery connector cover, then use your tweezers to remove this cover. With your plastic spudger, carefully pry up and disconnect both the battery and back glass press connectors. Now you can fully remove the back glass from the phone. I recommend covering the camera lens with a protective sticker to keep dust and debris off the glass. If you don't have one, just be extra careful and avoid touching the lens while you work. Remove the two screws securing the metal bracket and the two screws securing the Taptic Engine. Disconnect the Taptic Engine cable and remove the module. Remove the 5 screws securing the bottom speaker, then remove the module. Remove the screws securing the main microphone and disconnect its cable. The main microphone is glued to the iPhone chassis. Use tweezers to carefully separate it from the chassis. Remove the screws securing the SIM card reader module, and disconnect the cable from the logic board to remove it. If your iPhone 17 is eSIM only, you will have a spacer instead of a SIM card reader. Remove the 7 screws securing the USB-C flex cable to the iPhone chassis. Carefully remove the USB-C flex cable from the housing. Since the cable is adhered to the chassis, gently pry from underneath to separate it. If your iPhone isn't charging through the USB-C port, only charges at an angle, or keeps disconnecting, replacing this flex cable usually solves the problem. I've included a link to a compatible replacement charging port flex cable for the iPhone 17 in the video description below. Ensure that the 2 grounding clips are still intact. If they have fallen off or shifted, use tweezers to reposition them. Place the USB-C charging port flex into its pocket and ensure the USB-C port sits perfectly centered in the opening. Reinstall all screws using the correct lengths. This area often mixes screw sizes. If a screw feels like it bottoms out too early or never tightens, stop and verify you're using the right screw in the right hole. If your model has a SIM reader module, set it into place and reinstall the screws. If it's an eSIM only model, install the spacer exactly as it came out. If the connector looks even slightly crooked, disconnect and redo it now. This is one of the most common causes of no service after reassembly. Place the microphone back into position. If it was glued originally, add a small amount of appropriate adhesive or reuse the existing adhesive if it's still tacky and clean. Reconnect the microphone cable and reinstall screws. Position the bottom speaker assembly in its housing and secure it with screws. Place the Taptic Engine into its recess and secure it with its mounting screws. The Taptic Engine must sit flat and aligned with the frame. Reconnect the back glass cable and the battery cable to the logic board, then power on the iPhone to test that everything works properly. After the first boot, verify that the USB-C port works properly using a known good cable. Once everything passes, let's restore water resistance. Open the iPhone again and disconnect the battery and rear glass cables. I recommend covering the camera lens with a protective sticker to keep dust and debris off the glass. If you don't have one, just be extra careful and avoid touching the lens while you work. Remove the old adhesive tape from the iPhone's frame. Once the iPhone is opened, the adhesive tape loses its sealing properties and can no longer protect your device from water and dust. We'll replace it with new waterproof sealing tape to restore dust and moisture protection. Just keep in mind this won't bring the phone back to factory water resistance, so it's best not to submerge it after the repair. If you don't have new adhesive tape ready, it's better to leave the old tape in place until you're prepared to replace it. Clean the perimeter of the frame where adhesive will be applied. Use a cotton swab cloth with isopropyl alcohol to wipe away any oils or debris. Then let it air dry completely. Carefully align the new adhesive along the edges of the frame and make sure it sits evenly all the way around. Press it down around the entire perimeter using a plastic tool so it bonds securely. Then peel off the protective liner to expose the adhesive surface and continue with reassembly. Reconnect the back glass and battery cables to the logic board, then reinstall the bracket and secure it with the 2 screws. Please note that the bracket has 3 loops that must fit into their grooves on the main board before you tighten the 2 screws. Carefully position the back glass over the frame and press down, starting at one edge and working across. Apply firm, even pressure around the entire perimeter to ensure strong adhesive contact. Finally, reinstall the 2 screws near the charging port to finish assembly. If you found this guide helpful, please like this video and subscribe to How-FixIT for more detailed repair tutorials. Visit our website for more insights and do-it-yourself guides. Remember, every tech challenge is an opportunity to learn and grow. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.